What if I told you scientists discovered a brand new dinosaur without even opening the fossil? Hey guys, welcome back to the Prehistoric Life podcast. I'm your host, Eric Crawford, and today we're jumping into an amazing fossil discovery that happened back in March of this year. So, about a month ago, at the time of recording this at least, the 2026. So, this all started on the Afia Islands in South Korea, where researchers uncovered what looked like a pretty ordinary fossil. At first, they could only see a few bones, some leg fragments, a few vertebrates, nothing groundbreaking. But instead of breaking the rock open, they did something different. They decided to scan it. Using high-resolution micro-CT X-ray technology, I know that's a mouthful, scientists were able to look inside the fossil without damaging it. And what they found changed their discovery. Hidden inside the rock was an entire baby dinosaur skeleton, including, hang on, I gotta actually find a good image for this. Including parts of the skull, sometimes incredibly rare, something incredibly rare for fossils from this region. So, what did they actually find? A brand new species called, and bear with me, Doolysaurus heumini. And yes, they named it after a Korean cartoon dinosaur called Dooley. Why? Because the fossil was a baby. The dinosaur was only about 2 years old when it died and roughly the size of a turkey. Scientists think adults may have grown to about twice the size. So they were relatively small in terms of dinosaurs. And here's something even cooler. It may have been covered in fuzzy feather-like filaments, giving it a soft, almost lamb-like appearance. Doolysaurus was a ornithopod, a group of small to medium plant-eating dinosaurs, some broad group of iguanodon and hypsilophodon, likely fast bipedal and built for agility. It was, of course, herbivorous, feeding on low vegetation. Think of it like a small, lightweight grazer, constantly on the move to avoid predators. And as I said earlier, it was estimated to be about 2 years old, not fully grown. So adults would have been bigger and more robust, of course. This matters because baby dinosaurs often look very different from adult dinosaurs, which can make identification tricky. Scientists had to identify a brand new species from a dinosaur that wasn't even fully grown. So think about like a human infant, where not all of the like plates in the skull are fully conjoined, not everything's fully grown. So you can't really tell if it's just a really tiny dinosaur like Compsognathus or Maya, whatever it is, Yonqui, one of those really small dinosaurs, or if it's just a baby. The CT scans revealed parts of the skull. Hang on, gotta pull this up. As you can see, it revealed parts of the skull, which is critical because most Korean dinosaur fossils are fragmentary. Skull features are how paleontologists tell species apart. This is one of the biggest reasons it was confirmed as a new species. It appears to be a basal or early ornithopod, meaning it sits closer to the base of the ornithopod family tree, helps fill in gaps between earlier small herbivores and late more advanced ones. So basically, in translation, this dinosaur helps connect the dots in how plant-eating dinosaurs evolved. It lived in what is now South Korea during the Cretaceous period. So that's important because East Asia has different fossil record than North America. It helps scientists understand how dinosaurs spread across continents. You can even tie in factors like continental drift, ancient land connections between Asia and North America. That kind of idea. Cretaceous period is a little weird because I am fully convinced somehow Asia, Australia, Antarctica, and South America were connected because of megaraptors. And of course, you have continental drift, so they drift apart. So at some point, they could have been connected, but not at one point. There's no direct feather fossil preservation, but based on similar small ornithopods, it may have had filament-like fuzz, possibly for insulation or display. So visually, it may have looked like a scaly reptile. It may have not looked like a scaly reptile, but more like a soft bird. So size and appearance, roughly turkey size, like I mentioned earlier. Long tail for balance, as you can see, some depiction. Slim legs for speed. Adults were possibly 1 to 2 meters long. Still relatively small compared to giant herbivores. This dinosaur was identified from a fossil that scientists never even opened, like I mentioned earlier. It's one of the few dinosaurs from Korea with skull material, as I keep mentioning. It represents an early branch of plant-eating dinosaurs. It may have been covered in fuzz, not scales. Now, the real question is, what technology did they use to crack open this thing and look at it? So as I mentioned earlier, they used a mouthful of stuff, high resolution micro CT X-ray technology. This is where things get even crazier though. This scan was done at one of the world's leading facilities for fossil imaging, and it revealed bones that scientists didn't even know were there. They literally went from, we found a few bones, to it's a completely new species, all without touching the fossil. This kind of technology is changing paleontology fast because now paleontologists don't even have to risk destroying fossils to study them. So the idea is, instead of cracking open this giant fossil and these delicate little thin bird-like hollow basically baby bird fossils don't turn into ground dust while they're studying it. Now, how cool would it be to go places and look at dinosaur fossils like this? Now, here's actually a quick word from one of our sponsors to tell you about something like that. Huge shout out to today's sponsor, Dinosaur Trips. If you enjoy these majestic creatures I talk about here on the podcast and would like to go see them for yourself, I would heavily recommend Dinosaur Trips. Dinosaur Trips is a company created to give people a behind-the-scenes in-look on museums and dig sites, along with just having an amazing time looking at these amazing, fabulous, majestic creatures. So if you sound interested, go to www.dinosaurtrips.com and tell them Prehistoric Life sent you and get $250 off your tickets. Now, back to the show. So for those of you who even had to ask, if you're watching this is probably a nonsensical question. Why this matters? This isn't just a cute baby dinosaur. It is, but it's not just that. This discovery is actually big deal for a few reasons. One, it's the first of its kind in Korea. This is a first new dinosaur species discovered in South Korea in 15 years. On top of that, it is a basal ornithopod, meaning it connects very early lineages to very late lineages, which I'll get into in a bit. 2, evolutionary cues. This fossil helps scientists understand dinosaur evolution in East Asia and how these animals may have been connected to species in North America. So some of the thought is dinosaurs from Asia went over to North America, which is where we get tyrannosaurids, some hadrosaurs, which is why we have tarbosaurs and things like that over in Asia. We also have them, or tyrannosaurids in Asia, while we also have them here. So here we have like Gorgosaurus, Albertosaurus, of course, the famous Tyrannosaurus, Nanukosaurus over there. They have, I think Dilong is Asian. I think. Yes, Dilong is an Asian from, of course, Tarbosaurus. So it kind of equates how some of those dinosaurs went from over there to over here and how they spread. 3, rare skull material. It's also the first Korean dinosaur fossil with skull bones, which are crucial for identifying species. So, well, in a while. So they discovered something very rare, and I'd like to actually add something onto this list that I wrote out earlier. But I'm going to talk about this in a little bit. Well, actually, before we go any deeper, how cool would it be to own some like fossil skull material, but like a museum grade replica quality? Here's actually a word from our other sponsor.
If you follow my account, you probably like dinosaurs, fossils in the prehistoric world. And if you have ever shopped for fossils, you'll see that a lot of them have some very high prices, rightfully so, because they are usually one of a type specimen. Then you go look for casts, and you see a lot of these low quality casts going around, so you just don't know what to do. You either have to buy something super expensive or something super low quality. Enter dinosaur skeletons. Dinosaur Skeletons specializes in creating museum quality replicas of prehistoric life and is renowned for its highly detailed reconstructions. Founded by a professional paleo artist with over a decade of experience in the collectibles industry, they are dedicated to providing enthusiasts, collectors, and institutions with the opportunity to own magnificent, lifelike prehistoric replicas. Each creation is crafted with exceptional care and attention to detail. This means they are highly accurate to their source material, super high quality, and museum grade level quality. This is probably the closest you could get to bringing home a museum exhibit. They're also fairly affordable for the accuracy and quality put into it, which also means they make great gifts for birthdays and holidays for that collector or dinosaur enthusiast you know. So go check out Dinosaur Skeletons and get your cast today.
So since skull material is so rare there because of the geology and fossil preservation is very unique and a rare process, it helps a lot for the research. And finally, hidden fossils. Are there hidden fossils everywhere? The big question. And maybe the biggest takeaway. There could be tons of undiscovered fossils still hidden inside rock. We just haven't scanned them yet. With this cutting edge leading technology pushing way, figuring out how to do this better and better, it could revolutionize paleontology and minimize the risk of smaller, more fragile bones, making them easier to study. So leading the way in this technology, Doolysaurus is a good example of what this technology can bring. Now, the bigger picture. This discovery is part of a much bigger shift in paleontology. We enter a time where fossils don't need to be broken open. Entire skeletons can be discovered digitally, and new species might already be sitting in museum collections unnoticed. Think about that. Some of the next major dinosaurs discovery might already exist. We just haven't looked inside them yet. With all these rocks and these things like that we haven't cracked open, and all this matrix that we haven't touched, if we can A, make CT more affordable, B, make it more accessible, and C, just teach how to use it more widespread, paleontology could be revolutionized to where smaller, more fragile fossils would be easier to study, easier to identify, and possibly easier to excavate. So if you think about if they CT scan a giant matrix block and they get this tiny little fragile, I'm going to use Doolysaurus, for example, instead of cracking open the entire rock and shattering all the bone and leaving it unstudyable, they could just make a 3D scan of it, CT scan it, make that 3D model, ship it to somebody to make a recreation of it, and keep the actual block intact so that they can study it further. Or if processes of excavating out of rocks become way easier and way more gentle and less invasive, it could even save time for that to further grow. So yeah, a baby dinosaur hidden inside a rock, discovered with X-ray, and named after a cartoon character, I will add. Paleontology is getting pretty wild with some of these discoveries. If you want more videos of the latest dinosaur discoveries, hit subscribe, hit like, comment what you think about CT scanning, comment how you think that we could possibly extend, just make it more available. If you've done anything with CT, comment down below, because there's a lot of stuff coming out, and I'm excited myself. So I'm going to actually segue into something else right now. If you have not gotten your tickets for Prehistoric Live, time is running out. Maybe. Can I find this? Time is running out. Sorry, technical difficulties. But if you have not gotten your tickets to Prehistoric Live, you need to get those soon. We have 8 amazing speakers. I'm so excited for this. By the time this video is released, you will have only one more-ish week. You have like 1.5 weeks to get tickets. We have these 8 amazing speakers. And we're going to have an amazing giveaway with 2 cast Tyrannosaurus teeth from BioBuild Studios, an ornithopod, which fits into this video very well. We have an ornithopod, like cracked open egg from BioBuild Studios, and a $70 gift voucher from Dinosaur Skeletons that will be given away during it. So remember to get your tickets for Prehistoric Live, and I hope to see you all there. Now that is all from me. I'm your host, Eric Crawford. This has been Prehistoric Live Podcast, and remember, keep it prehistoric. Goodbye.